Okay, so if you weren't here, let me intro this. Let me intro this for anybody who's just tuned in. So this is a new generation ship that has recently been discovered. Apparently it's a happy story, which is kind of nuts. I love generation ships. This is one of my absolute favorite things to do. And I have been hoping for a happy generation ship story since I started playing this game. People always say that Elite Dangerous has no story, but there are these like tiny little snippets of stories everywhere, whether it's a generation ship or like an INRA thing. And I'm really excited because this is something that I have hoped existed for such a long time, and now we're finally going. Oh man, okay, sweet. That's different. That's not what they look like on any of the other generation ships. This is not how they usually are. Sorry, I'm getting a bit excited. And there's little vehicles. Is that like a little farm doodah? The lights are all on. Are they all alive? They're gonna be all alive. No, wait, it's not usually lit up on the other side either. Not that I've like intently studied generation ships because I'm slightly obsessed with them or anything, obviously. Let's go. Man, do you know what? When we do things like this, it makes me so, it makes me feel really accomplished because my flight assist off has come such a long way and I worked so hard. To, I guess not necessarily get good, but get to a point where I could fly like it. And now, when I turn flight assist on, I'm like, why can't I fly? This doesn't make sense. Why is my ship behaving badly? I don't get it. It's just a nice, cool way to fly, and I much prefer it. I play keyboard, mouse, and pedals. I always forget how close you have to get to these bad boys. Man, if this isn't a nice story, I'm gonna riot. Is that it? Did we get them all? We did. Okay, sweet. Let's go and get a decent view while we read these, shall we? Let's get a nice, beautiful view of this gen ship. That'll do. Very nice. Very snazzy. Here we go.
This is Captain Jonathan Forrester. The Golconda colony needs your help. I don't know how else to say it. To anybody hearing this is what's happening. We have a full colony of people on board this vessel. That's tens of thousands of people. And until recently, we've been entirely self-sufficient, but supplies are starting to run low. More specifically, we're lacking a lot of technical components, air filters, water recyclers, circuit boards, things like that. And it's getting harder to patch this equipment up every year. There's only so long we can make do with what we have. And the other thing, and this is the real kicker, is that there's a disease going around which is knocking us sideways. Flu-like symptoms, but much more serious. People are dying. We're coping as best as we can, but our medical supplies are running low. And if this turns into a full-blown epidemic, then we're going to be in real big trouble. So I made the decision to reach out to you, whoever you are. Hopefully the tech's moved on enough for our signal to be picked up this far out. But the others really weren't sure if I should be doing this, because people here don't want interference from outsiders. But I don't want to worry them by explaining the reality of our situation. They're good people. I don't want them to be scared. So here I am, recording a call for help. Trust me, I wouldn't be asking if I didn't need to. I feel like I don't really know how to do this. I hope you understand. It's been a while. Captain Jonathan Forrester, signing off.
I'm sorry, I thought you guys told me this was a happy ending. So far, everybody's dying. There's flu-like systems but worse. There's spooky music. You told me that this was a happy story. And I don't feel like that's where it's going. They like bait you in, they play with your feelings, and then everybody's dead. Okay, let's go. All right, what's the worst that could happen?
This is Dr. Shay Tandis. Captain Forrester has asked me to summarize the situation on board the Golconda, particularly in regards to a recent outbreak of disease. I must preface this by saying that any attempt to summarize the situation feels inadequate. There is so much to say about the symptoms, the development of our detection methods, and existing treatment philosophies. Nevertheless, I will attempt to speak concisely for the purpose of this broadcast. The disease, known colloquially among the people as the wasting kiss, is a mutated strain of viral nasopharyngitis. One of the drawbacks of living in an atmospherically self-contained structure for hundreds of years is that illness tends to linger. We can't very well sterilize a ship of this size, and with each generation, these illnesses adapt to remain virulent. This one particularly so. Antiviral treatments aren't particularly effective, merely delaying the disease's progress. We have confirmed 6 deaths in the past month attributable to the disease. Our medical supplies are somewhat limited, adequate for maintaining health and the occasional serious illness or accident. In the event of a full outbreak, with hundreds of patients requiring treatment, we may be forced to resort to measures such as full quarantine and isolation. When the captain first suggested opening communication with outsiders, I must confess to a certain hesitation. On reflection, it would seem the logical decision for the well-being of the crew. One can only imagine what pharmaceutical advancements have been made over the last millennia. The possibilities are fascinating.
Please, Liv. What date is this? Is there a date on these? There's no date on them? Was there a date on the last one? Now, I'm pretty sure, so I did a lot of research into gen ships. Let me just get my facts up. Are you ready for some statistics? We know that the first generation ship was launched in 2097, and there is no published date that the last one was launched. However, it has to be somewhere around 2800. Because that's kind of when the commercial hyperspace drive came in, right? So that's the latest that they could possibly have been launched between, right? So that's 703 years, 70,000 generation ships over 703 years. That's one every 4 days. That's one, just stop, just for a second. One generation ship every 4 days. Can you imagine building something of this magnitude and manning it, the number of people that you would have to have on a ship like this, the amount of skills that they would have to have, the individual skills, the sheer fact, and one of them every 4 days. I'm going to show you. I have the page for the manual. Not that I've like obsessively looked into this or anything. My God, you nerd. I'm sorry. I just really like generation ships. I'm sorry. I looked into them. I wanted to know more about them. Okay, here we go. Before the development of the WS-3 space drive in all its various forms, interstellar travel occurred in large self-sustaining environment ships, the generation ships, most of which have now been logged and their progress monitored. There are more than 70,000 of these immense vessels ploughing their way through the galaxy, some of them in their 30th generation. The penalty for interference with such vessel is marooning. This is the original Elite manual. Just saying. It's a lot of ships. One of them every 4 days. And as I say, that's a different number to a number that's been quoted on the forums. But when it was quoted on the forums, they didn't give the end date that they were looking at. And they talked about how there must have been like a concentrated period of time in the middle where there were more created, you know. Should we carry on? I hope you survived. Hope you survived. Moving on.
Rick Blanchard, Security Chief of the Golconda. First things first. The safety and protection of the people aboard this ship is my primary objective. During my tenure, we've reduced the rate of crime aboard this vessel by 32%. Violent crime is rare, and there hasn't been a murder in over 6 years. My team are well-trained and do this ship proud in how they address the very specific demands of the Golconda. You might think an isolated, spacefaring colony of thousands with no horizons, seasons, or other planetary benefits would have gone mad and initiated some kind of mass tragedy.
I mean, that's what happened on all the other ones.
Not on my watch.
Good man.
Which is why I need to be clear in my opposition to the captain's decision to send out a distress call. Humanity doesn't enjoy a stellar record of respecting the rights and well-being of indigenous communities. Hell, we don't know what humanity is anymore past the confines of this 1,000-year hull. The risks outweigh the advantages. I'll follow the captain's order, because he's not let us down yet. Got a good mind, that one. But I'm asking whoever hears this message to understand that we're looking for a trade of goods and resources only. Communication with the general populace of the Golconda is forbidden. Messages regarding developments outside of the Golconda is forbidden.
What?
Direct contact between outsiders and Golconda colonists during an exchange of cargo is forbidden.
What?
We've always dealt with hard times ourselves. If it were my call, we'd deal with this by ourselves too.
Is it me or does this guy have some serious control issues? I mean, like, this sounds like a dictatorship of you must not speak to anybody else. You are under my control. Just because you're head of security, it doesn't mean that you're allowed to be a giant. See what I'm saying? There's an illness that is killing people spectacularly, and you just want to not tell anybody. Outside contact could throw a whole wrench in the works of society for them. If they found out they don't need to do everything by themselves, they might not want to anymore. Yeah, but faster than light travel exists. People could come get there within like an instant. They could be saved. Civilization outside of the generation ship could have far more advanced medicine and could save this entire ship, the entire generations on this ship from death. But this is all they know and this is their tribe. Yeah, and I totally understand that they want to protect their tribe, but that's the same reason why I think they need outside help. If you want to protect your tribe and your tribe are dying, maybe it's time to look for help. You know? There is an illness that might grow mismanageable, so it has killed all of 6 people out of 50,000. Scary but not earth-shattering. All right, yeah, when you put it that way, you're probably right. But I think maybe my judgment is being colored by all of the other generation ships where there's been like an illness and then everybody's dead within like a couple of years. I think because I've seen so many generation ships where that's the ending, I'm like, guys, come on, ask for help, damn it. I mean, maybe this is just me being super naive, but I feel like people should have a right to choose. If they find out that there's more out there and they want to be able to go there and it's possible, then surely they should have the right to choose if they do that or not. The recessive genes find a way to join up together and cause issues. Man, it's a big mood about being ginger. I feel personally attacked. Should we go? Number 4?
This is Aaron Gray of the Golconda. It's my responsibility as custodian to manage the needs of our people and ensure that everyone is fairly represented. I'm recording this message to satisfy the curiosity of anyone who may respond to our distress signal, I suppose. Truth be told, I'm not sure what to say. We're more than just a colony, you see. We're a family. Whenever a challenge is put in front of us, we resolve it together. When success is achieved, we celebrate collectively. We have... It's hard to put into words. Our ancestors chose to remain on this vessel centuries ago and leave our original destination behind. They did so because they had grown to love what they had achieved. Logs from that period show their anxiety at the prospect of leaving the Golconda. The generation ships were designed to keep colonists healthy, happy, and entertained, and somewhere in our journey, we came to feel loved too. And yet, all things must come to an end. Sickness is rife and supplies are low. After so long fending for ourselves, the time has come to seek assistance from a civilization we no longer know.
That's powerful.
The captain believes that humanity has a heart and will come to our aid. If you're listening to this message, we're probably going to find out if he's right soon enough.
Okay, I'm starting to understand why they don't want to contact the outside world now. I feel rude. Feel like you were interfering. I do a bit. You want to help. I do want to help. I really do want to help. And I think it's very easy, as with everything in this world, right? It's very easy to have a very strong opinion about it when you're not in that situation yourself. I'm just going to preface this, guys. I know it's a game. All right, no, it's a game. I'm well aware. I know this isn't real. But I feel like with all good art, it makes you feel something. But I think it's very easy for you to say, oh, if that was me, I would do this, or I would do that, or like, that's stupid. This is the way that they should do it, and this is the way that you should do it. But you can never really put yourself in somebody's shoes, right? Somebody can explain everything to you, but you can never actually have the experience of what they are thinking and how they are experiencing things. So I'm kind of feeling a little bit bad about what I said a few minutes ago now.
Thomas Cobb, chaplain. I serve the Golconda, and the Golconda embraces me. Long ago, I would have been called a priest, somebody authorized to provide guidance according to the rules of a religion. That's the role my predecessors fulfilled, at least. Eventually, the old texts were set aside in favor of a less rigid spiritual philosophy. being able to view the entire nebula over breakfast inclines one towards the contemplative.
God, can you imagine?
There are few things more reformative than a sense of complete insignificance. Now, my role is to show my brothers and sisters that we are all important. Each of us has a role to play. We cannot concern ourselves with the scale of the stage. All we can do is deliver the best performance we can. Each person aboard the Golconda can trace their heritage from the first inhabitants to the current day. In the present, we contemplate the spirit and the soul, allowing the voices of the past to inform our future. Our respect for them, combined with our belief in each other, creates a community of hope. And here we are, over 1,000 years later, about to reach out a hand and hope that humanity accepts it. What lies in store for us, I wonder? What lessons have been learned from history? While I am nervous at the thought of outside assistance, I must admit, the question intrigues me. What did we become?
What? Oh my god, this one's my favorite one. About to reach out a hand and hope that humanity accepts it. That's so poignant. Oh my god. I hope they washed their hands. I hope they washed their hands too. After a millennia, do they still have hands or are they now tentacles? I mean, I don't know. Why not both? Sure, they have all this history and strong interpersonal bonds, but do they have tea? I don't know. But if they do have tea, I hope they don't microwave it, because that is a travesty, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, right. So what does Golconda mean? Because they're always named really aptly. Manufacturer in Nottingham? No, it's not that one. Golconda Fort. The fort was built as part of the Western defences. Okay, right. The city and fortress. It's a fortress. I see. The city and fortress were built on a granite hill that is 120 metres, 390 foot high, surrounded by massive battlements. The Golconda Fort used to have a vault where the diamonds were once stored. The fortress city within the walls was famous for diamond trade. Okay. You think it might be referencing to the painting? Golconda painting. Let's read about that. An oil on canvas by Belgian surrealist René Magritte. It's a Magritte painting? Oh my god, I've seen this before. Okay, so this is it. This piece depicts a scene of reigning men nearly identical to each other, dressed in dark overcoats and bowler hats, who seem to either be falling down like raindrops, floating up like helium balloons, or just stationed mid-air, as no movement or motion is implied. But Magritte knew that representations of things can lie. These images of men aren't men, just pictures of them, so they don't have to follow any rules. Whoa! This painting is fun, but it also makes us aware of the falsity of representation. Shut the front door! That's so relevant to this generationship! Oh my god! One interpretation is that Magritte is demonstrating the line between individuality and group association, and how it is blurred. It's gotta be this. All of these men are dressed the same, but have the same bodily features, and all are floating or falling. This leaves us to look at the men as a group, whereas if we look at each person, we can predict that they may be completely different from another figure. It makes sense that it would be based on that, right? That makes so much sense. List of ships named Golconda. I'm sorry, what? Golconda was launched in Calcutta in 1815. She made one voyage for the British East India Company. She spent the bulk of her career as a country ship, trading in the East Indies. On 20th of September 1835, Golconda sailed from Singapore to Canton in company with Derek Clark, Duke of Lancaster, and the Danish ship Matador. On the 16th of October, during bad weather, Golconda ran into Matador and almost cut her in half. Matador sank after Golconda was able to rescue her crew. On the 20th of August 1840, the 37th Madras Native Infant Regiment sailed from Madras aboard Golconda, Minerva, Sophia, and Thetis. So Thetis is another generation ship. There's a generation ship called Thetis. All bound for China. The last three arrived safely. Golconda disappeared. What? She was the headquarters ship for the regiment and carried its commander, Lieutenant Colonel William Isaacs, 13 other officers, and some 350 soldiers and camp followers. Okay, right, sure. So it could be a ship, Could be named after one of several ships. Could be named after a place. Several places, really. Could be named after a Magritte painting. Okay. Down that?
A generation ship with a living population has been discovered in the Upaniclis system. The Golconda has survived for more than a millennium as the home of a self-reliant society. But it is believed the vessel's outdated facilities are struggling to meet the needs of its crew. The inhabitants have reported a lack of maintenance materials and medical supplies, the latter made more pertinent by a virus sweeping through the ship. They have gratefully accepted our offer of medical supplies and other materials.
No way!
Traders are asked to deliver basic medicines, advanced medicines, aluminium, ceramic composites and semiconductors to foes at port in the Upaniclis system.
We can help them.
Upaniclis Vision Incorporated is also offering bounty vouchers on wanted ships to deter pirate activity in the area.
We could save them. But are we gonna? Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, we're gonna. We're gonna save them. What kind of a question is that? Kolo, are you gonna help? Are you kidding me? Have we met before? Of course I'm gonna help them. It's such the easiest decision I've ever made. Hey Kolo, you have the opportunity to save people from dying in a game. Would you like to? Let me think about this just a minute. Yes. How do we know the status? How do I know how much has been delivered? How much needs to be delivered? How can I find out? What's the progress? This is what we're doing now. This is our life. This is what we're doing now. You can also help by ganking other players in the system. All right, sweet. Well, let's do that. Let's go ganking. Just to clarify, I'm not going to do that. Just to clarify, I'm not doing it. Potato, 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 potato.